There comes a moment in every life when the mask you've worn for so long becomes unbearably heavy. When the applause of others feels hollow, and their expectations suffocate the very breath from your lungs. You stand at the crossroads between who you've been told to be and who you truly are. This is the moment Carl Jung called the Great Awakening. The moment when you realize you've been living someone else's dream, while your own soul withers in silence. Picture a garden where every flower tries to become a rose because roses are admired. The daisies stretch themselves thin, losing their simple beauty. The sunflowers bow their heads in shame, forgetting they were meant to follow the sun. The wildflowers hide their vibrant chaos, believing it's too much, too different. But what happens to a garden where everything tries to be the same? It loses its magic. Its diversity dies. Its authentic beauty fades into a monotonous parade of artificial perfection. Jung understood that we are that garden. Each of us born as a unique flower, yet somehow convinced that our natural state isn't enough, that we must become something else to earn love, acceptance, belonging. We learned early that approval comes with conditions. Smile when you don't feel like smiling. Say yes when your heart screams no. Dim your light so others aren't uncomfortable. Shrink your dreams to fit their understanding. And slowly, imperceptibly, we lose ourselves in the maze of other people's expectations. We become performers in a play we never auditioned for, speaking lines we never wrote, living a story that isn't ours. The child who loved to paint abandons their brushes because art isn't practical. The dreamer who saw worlds beyond this one learns to keep their visions secret. The sensitive soul builds walls so high they forget how to feel. We trade our authenticity for acceptance, our truth for their comfort, our inner voice for their approval. But Jung knew something profound. The price of living for others is the death of your true self. And when your true self dies, something sacred is lost from the world forever. There's a weight that settles in your chest when you live this way. A heaviness that follows you through your days like a shadow. You achieve what they wanted you to achieve, become what they said you should become, yet emptiness echoes in the chambers of your heart. You look in the mirror and wonder who's looking back. The person staring at you feels like a stranger wearing your face, living your life, but somehow it's not you. Not really. This is what Jung called the persona. The mask we wear to meet the world's expectations. It's not evil or wrong. We all need personas to navigate society. But the tragedy comes when we forget it's just a mask, when we mistake the role for our true identity. Jung spent his life studying this phenomenon. He saw how people lose themselves in the pursuit of others' approval, how they become prisoners in gilded cages of expectation, how they sacrifice their authentic selves on the altar of acceptance. But he also discovered the path back home, back to yourself. The journey begins with a simple but profound question. What would you do if no one was watching? Who would you be if their opinions didn't matter? What dreams would you chase if failure wasn't something to fear? These questions cut through the noise of external validation and speak directly to your core. They bypass the committee of voices in your head that constantly judge and critique. They reach the part of you that knows, that has always known. Your true self isn't something you need to create, something you need to uncover. Like a sculptor revealing the statue that already exists within the stone, your authentic self is waiting beneath layers of conditioning and compromise. But this uncovering requires courage. The courage to disappoint people, the courage to be misunderstood, the courage to stand alone if necessary. Because living authentically means some people won't understand you, some won't approve, some may even leave, and that's okay. Jung realized that trying to be everything to everyone means being nothing to yourself. That a life lived for others' approval is a life unlived. Think of the moments when you felt most alive, most yourself. Chances are, these weren't the moments when you were performing for others. They were the moments when you forgot about the audience entirely. When you were so present, so authentic, that time seemed to stop. Maybe it was when you were creating something that came from your soul. Or when you were in nature, feeling connected to something larger than yourself. Perhaps it was in a conversation where you spoke your truth without filtering it through others' expectations. These moments are glimpses of who you really are. They're breadcrumbs leading back to your authentic self. But the path isn't easy. Jung called it individuation. The process of becoming who you truly are, distinct from the collective expectations of society, family, and culture. It's one of the most challenging journeys you'll ever undertake. You'll face resistance from others who are comfortable with the version of you they know, from the parts of yourself that have learned safety lies in conformity, from a world that often punishes authenticity and rewards compliance. There will be moments of doubt when the familiar comfort of living for others seems easier than the uncertain path of self-discovery, when the applause of the crowd seems more valuable than the quiet approval of your own soul. But Jung understood that this resistance is part of the process. The very fact that it feels scary means you're on the right path. Growth always feels uncomfortable at first. Authenticity is a practice, not a destination. Start small. Notice where you say yes when you mean no. Where you smile when you want to cry. Where you shrink when you want to expand. These small moments of inauthenticity add up to a life that doesn't feel like your own. Begin to make different choices. Tiny acts of rebellion against the tyranny of others' expectations. Speak up when you usually stay silent. Say no when you usually say yes. Express an opinion that's truly yours, not one borrowed from someone else. Each authentic choice is a step toward freedom. Each moment of living for yourself instead of others is a victory over the forces that would have you disappear into their idea of who you should be. Jung believed that your authentic self is your gift to the world. Not the polished, perfected version others expect, but the real, raw, beautifully imperfect you. The you that has unique insights, perspectives, and contributions that only you can offer. When you hide this authentic self, the world loses something irreplaceable. When you shrink to make others comfortable, you rob humanity of your unique light. When you live for others' approval, you deprive the world of your authentic contribution. But when you choose to live for yourself, something magical happens. You give others permission to do the same. Your authenticity becomes a beacon for those still lost in the maze of others' expectations. Your courage to be yourself inspires their courage to be themselves. This doesn't mean becoming selfish or inconsiderate. Living for yourself means honoring your true nature while still being compassionate and connected. It means being genuine in your relationships instead of performing in them. It means contributing from a place of authentic self-expression rather than obligation or expectation. Jung discovered that when we live authentically, we naturally become more compassionate, more creative, more alive. Because we're no longer spending all our energy maintaining a false self, we have more to give to the world from a genuine place. The relationships that survive your journey to authenticity will become deeper and more meaningful. Because people will be relating to the real you, not the version you thought they wanted. And the new relationships you form will be built on a foundation of truth rather than pretense. Some people may not understand your transformation. They may prefer the version of you that was easier to control, predict, or understand. They may try to pull you back into old patterns with guilt, manipulation, or disappointment. But Jung knew that you can't save others by sacrificing yourself. You can't light up the world by dimming your own flame. You can't help others find themselves by losing yourself in their expectations. Your journey to authenticity is not a betrayal of others, it's a gift to them. When you live genuinely, you show them what's possible. When you choose truth over approval, you demonstrate courage they may not have known they possessed. The path of individuation is lonely at times. There will be moments when you feel misunderstood, isolated, different. But Jung reminds us that this loneliness is not emptiness. It's the space where your true self can finally breathe. It's a silence where your authentic voice can finally be heard. In this space, you'll discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. Dreams you buried so deep you forgot they were yours. Talents that withered from neglect but can bloom again. Wisdom that was always there, waiting for you to stop looking outside yourself for answers. You'll find that your intuition becomes sharper when you stop drowning it out with others' opinions. Your creativity flows more freely when you stop judging it through others' eyes. Your joy becomes more genuine when you stop performing happiness for an audience. Living for yourself doesn't mean living without others. It means bringing your whole authentic self to your relationships. It means loving from a place of fullness rather than need. It means contributing from overflow rather than obligation. Jung saw that the most profound transformations happen not when we try to become someone else, but when we have the courage to become more ourselves. When we stop running from our authentic nature and start embracing it. This embrace requires forgiveness. Forgiveness for all the times you betrayed yourself for others' comfort. Forgiveness for all the dreams you abandoned for their approval. Forgiveness for all the ways you made yourself small to make them feel big. It also requires gratitude. Gratitude for the journey that brought you to this moment of awakening. Gratitude for the experiences, even the painful ones, that led you back to yourself. Gratitude for the courage that's stirring within you right now. The world needs you. Not the version of you that fits into their boxes. Not the version that says what they want to hear. Not the version that's been polished smooth of all its interesting edges. The world needs the real you. With all your contradictions and complexities. With your unique way of seeing and being. With your authentic voice that sounds like no one else's. Jung spent his life studying the human psyche, and he discovered something beautiful. Every person is both universal and utterly unique. We all share common experiences of being human, yet each of us brings a perspective that has never existed before and will never exist again. Your authentic self is not just personal, it's cosmic. When you live truly, you fulfill a role in the great symphony of existence that no one else can play. When you express your genuine nature, you add a note to the world's song that would otherwise be missing. This is why living for others ultimately serves no one. When you hide your true self, everyone loses. When you dim your light, the world becomes a little darker. When you silence your authentic voice, a unique song goes unsung. But when you choose to live for yourself, to honor your true nature, to express your authentic being, you don't just transform your own life. You become part of the transformation of the world. Each person who chooses authenticity over approval makes it easier for others to do the same. Each individual who lives for themselves rather than others gives permission for authenticity to spread. Each soul who refuses to shrink becomes a light in the darkness for those still finding their way. Jung understood that this is how the world changes. Not through grand gestures or perfect people, but through individuals having the courage to be themselves. Through ordinary people making extraordinary choices to live authentically. Your life is not a rehearsal. This is not a practice round. This is the real thing, and you only get one chance to live it as yourself. Every day you spend trying to be someone else is a day your authentic self remains unexpressed. The time is now, not when you're more prepared. Not when others are ready for the real you. Not when it feels safer or easier. Now, while your heart is still beating and your dreams are still possible. Take off the mask. Stop the performance. End the exhausting charade of being who others expect you to be. Come home to yourself. Your authentic self is calling. It has been calling all your life, sometimes whispered, sometimes shouted, but always there beneath the noise of others' expectations. It's time to listen. It's time to live for yourself, not in selfish disregard for others, but in sacred honor of the unique gift you are to this world. Not in rebellion against love, but in the deepest love you can offer. The love of truth, authenticity, and genuine being. Jung's wisdom echoes across the decades. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Not who they want you to be, not who you think you should be, but who you actually are in the depths of your soul. This is your invitation, your wake-up call, your chance to choose authenticity over approval, truth over comfort, yourself over their expectations. The person you've been waiting to become is already within you, waiting to be expressed. The life you've been dreaming of living is possible when you have the courage to live it as yourself. Stop waiting for permission. Stop looking for approval. Stop asking if it's okay to be who you are. You don't need their permission to live your own life. You need only your own courage, your own choice, your own commitment to honor the sacred gift of being you. The world is waiting, not for another copy of someone else, but for the original masterpiece that is your authentic self. If this message touched you, comment, "I choose my peace."